Okay, picture this. You walk into your school tomorrow, but not just as a student. You're on a highly specific mission. Your quest to absolutely rescue your school from uninspiring, distracting, or, let's be honest, just plain boring classroom walls. We've all sat in those rooms, right? Where the walls look like a chaotic collage of peeling paper, or on the flip side, a completely sterile white box. Well, in today's explainer, we're going to use the formal design cycle to change all of that. We're going to take everyday learning spaces and transform them into seriously powerful educational tools. Now, if you've never designed a thing in your life, don't sweat it. We've got a super clear roadmap today. First up, we'll meet your third teacher. Then we'll be investigating the learning space. After that, developing brilliant design ideas. And finally, creating your final solution. Let's dive in.
Section 1. Meet your third teacher.
I want you to mentally walk into your current classroom right now. Take a good look around. What role do your classroom walls actually play in your learning? Seriously, think about it. Are they helping you focus? Are they confusing you? Do they make you feel cozy, alert, or just kind of overwhelmed? The environment you learn in has a massive, absolutely crucial impact on how you feel and how your brain absorbs information. And this whole idea is perfectly captured by an early childhood educator named Loris Malguzzi. He said, there are 3 teachers of children: adults, other children, and their physical environment. Wow, think about that for a second. The environment isn't just some passive background where learning happens to take place. No way. It is an active participant. It is literally your third teacher. Everything in that room, from the way the desks are arranged to the posters on the wall, is actively communicating something to you.
Let's ground this in reality, right? When you step into a standard classroom, signals are just everywhere. We really have to evaluate the specific role played by individual parts of the system. We're talking lighting, the furniture, the overall size of the space, the noise level, and especially those visual displays on the walls. All of these impact how we learn. So our job as designers is to figure out if these displays are actually sparking curiosity and helping us grow, or if they're just, taking up space and adding to the visual noise.
Which brings us to Section 2, investigating the learning space. Now, before we can even think about fixing a space, we have to understand it, and that means research. You've got your secondary research. That's when you use sources that are kind of removed from the action, like reading a book or an article about good classroom design. And hey, that's helpful, but what we absolutely need here is primary research. This is your first-hand observation. It means physically walking into the specific rooms you want to improve, talking to the actual students and teachers using them, and crucially, taking photographs of the current walls. Because let's face it, you can't solve a problem if you haven't really looked it in the eye. So once you have your primary research, like those photos of your target classroom, you need a way to analyze them. Enter the noise framework. It's a super sticky little mnemonic that stands for needs, opportunities, improvements, strengths, and exceptions. Basically, what are the actual needs of the space? What wall space is an opportunity just waiting to be used? Are there existing strengths, like maybe something the students already love? By labeling your photos with these noise categories, you take this big, messy visual problem and turn it into really clear, actionable data. And all of this messy problem finding, it leads straight to this, the design brief. Think of this as your big pitch. You're presenting your hard-earned findings to a client, maybe your school principal or a specific teacher. Your design brief needs to summarize your research, pinpoint the exact problem you're tackling, and then persuasively justify why your specific poster or display is the perfect solution. It's basically where you confidently say, hey, here's what's broken, and here is exactly why my design is going to fix it.
Moving right along to Section 3, developing brilliant design ideas.
Okay, when you're creating a design specification, you are essentially writing up a contract for your product. And to do that right, you have to balance 2 major elements, aesthetics and function. Aesthetics is all about the vibe, right? What's the style of the poster? What colors and fonts are we going to use? But function asks the tough question. What is the main educational purpose of this thing? Look, a poster might look incredibly cool, stellar aesthetics, but if the text is so tiny you can't read it from the back of the science lab, it completely fails its function. You've got to have both working seamlessly together. Let's look at how this plays out with specific choices, especially text. Copy and typography, basically the words you use and how they visually look, are a huge deal. Take a look at this. We have the exact same phrase, "You'll always be mine." But notice how one font makes it look like this sweet, romantic little note? The other one, written in harsh, jagged red capitals?
It looks absolutely terrifying. It's like something out of a horror movie. This visual irony totally hits the nail on the head. Fonts matter. Typography completely alters the tone, the clarity, and the ultimate meaning of your message.
So, to help you absolutely nail that balance of aesthetics and function, here are some rapid-fire essential rules pulled straight from our source material. First, think about your audience. Second, make sure your poster can actually be read from a distance. Third, use contrasting colors to really make it pop. Fourth, rely on bold typography to ensure legibility. And finally, perhaps the single most important tip of the whole shebang, delete anything unnecessary. Seriously, don't make the poster too busy. If a graphic or a word doesn't help your main message land quickly and clearly, just get rid of it. And that brings us to Section 4, creating your final solution. Here's the truth. Good design isn't just about sitting around waiting for lightning to strike. It is highly, highly logical. Before you even start making the final poster, you absolutely must create a step-by-step plan. You document the exact software tools you're going to use, like Adobe Illustrator, for example, and you estimate the time it's going to take. It looks like this. Step 1, open document and set dimensions. Takes 2 minutes. Step 2, use the type tool for the title. 2 minutes. Step 3, change the font to chalk duster, size 36 point, and center align. Another 2 minutes. Doing this level of detail planning ensures you don't skip steps, and more importantly, it prevents a total disaster if something goes sideways. Finally, it's time to execute. A huge part of the design cycle requires you to actually show off your technical skills to build the final product. Whether you're in Illustrator, Photoshop, or whatever software you prefer, you need to produce a high-resolution poster. High resolution is an absolute must, so that when it's printed out real big, all those details stay crisp and clear. And you'll want to take screenshots along the way, right? This documents your mastery of the tools like the curvature tool or your layer management, and proves you've really got the technical chops to bring that design brief to life. I want to leave you with a final, slightly provocative thought to wrap up our explainer today. Are we just decorating our learning spaces, or are we designing them to actually amplify learning? Remember, your physical environment is your third teacher. Every single poster, every font choice, every splash of color, it all matters. So grab a camera, start observing your walls with a critical eye, and use the design cycle to transform your everyday space into something that truly, actually inspires. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy designing.